Guys, it's your brother, bro, CDP. I'm with Buffalo Bisons color analyst Duke McGuire and Buffalo Baseball Hall of Famer. Duke, I was going to say, what are your thoughts on the current 2022 Buffalo Bisons so far this year?
Well, they've surpassed the expectations I had for them, to tell you the truth. They don't really have too much power. Uh, we have two starting pitchers. We do a lot of bullpen work. But I'll tell you what, they have speed, and speed kills, and they've done a really good job getting the most out of what they have. It's been a great season thus far.
Who are some of the Bisons that have kind of surprised you this year?
Well, I think some of the guys that have had good years. Nathan Lucas, he was in the league last year with Tampa and down in Durham, and he's having a really consistent season, hitting 300. He might drop a point or two below it, but then he always gets a couple of hits the next day to get right back above it. But he's had a great season for the Bisons. Of course, Moreno, who went up with Toronto, he's been outstanding this year. I like Groshans. Groshans came up from Double A, and he's swinging the bat well. So, we have some guys that are playing pretty good. And Cullen Large has made a big improvement over last year. He's probably hitting 20, 30 points higher than what he did last year. So that's a big help for the herd.
Overall thoughts on manager Casey Kendall? I believe he's in his second year as the Bisons manager.
Yeah, Casey's great. Casey, I was working for the club when he was a player here. That's how long ago it was. But he's I tell you what, he's pulling all the right strings. I'll tell you, he's pushing the right buttons. He's got to be a great manager because they're winning. I think they're winning with smoke and mirrors. To tell you the truth, they don't seem to ever be out of a ball game. We've seen 3 games now in this series thus far. They've come from behind, pulled out 2 in the bottom of the 9th, 1 in the bottom of the 8th. They never say die, and he's doing a great job.
Thoughts on Devon White? As we know, he was a great Major League Baseball center fielder with the Angels and Blue Jays. How's he been as the hitting coach with the Bisons? And does he work with the outfielders as well?
Yeah, he really works with the outfielders. They have a hitting coach in Corey Hart, and Devo kind of coaches third base, and he does a great job coaching third base. He is really aggressive over there, and he's rarely, if ever, wrong, sending guys. I mean, he does a really good job at that. And then he works with the outfielders, and everybody in Toronto knows what kind of an outfielder Devo was. I think he's a Golden Glover, and there's a good reason for it. And he's trying to get some of these young guys, Samad Taylor and Young, Chavez Young, get those guys positioned right and reading the ball off the bat and things like that. And he's done a great job for the herd.
Overall, what's your overall thoughts of the affiliation with the Toronto Blue Jays as you've been around the Bisons basically since, 1979?
Yeah, I got hired in the winter of 1979, so it's been a long time. Cleveland was a great parent club for us. We always had real good ball clubs with Cleveland. The Mets didn't pan out so well. And to be perfectly honest, I was a little concerned when we got Toronto because they were in Syracuse, and Syracuse was bad for a number of years. And I said, uh-oh, this could be a problem. But it's been good. I mean, we hit them at the right time. Toronto had a lot of young guys coming through, Vlad and Biggio and those guys, Bo, Bichette, Danny Jansen. These unbelievable. Jano, he's been tough, and they just what they've really done well is they're winning at every level. Those guys, they won an A ball, they won a double A ball, they had a good season here. Now they're going up to the big leagues, and they're never out of a game. They were down by 5 against the Yankees the other day, came back to win. So I think Toronto's on the upswing, and because of that, I think players want to play for Toronto, and I think we're going to get some guys that will play here. This is a great city to play in. The stadium's awesome, and if you want to get some 6-year minor league free agent guys, this would be the place to play.
Who do you see on the Bisons in their pitching staff that could be called up to Toronto later this summer or in the fall?
Well, right now it's tough because bullpen guys, they're almost interchangeable, to tell you the truth. Casey Lawrence has been pitching great. If there's any justice in this world, that guy's got to go back to the big leagues. He's 34 years old, but he's won 8 ball games here, and he could have won a couple more that they kind of blew a lead on him. But he's pitched outstanding baseball for the Bisons. I would say right now, Casey Lawrence has been pitching great. Big Sean Anderson, he's been pitching well for the Bisons. They got some young guys, and they got some guys that came over in trades. So those guys are always, they're on the radar. But I would love to see Casey Lawrence get another shot. He pitched 4 innings against the Yankees the other day and shut him out the first 3. And then he hit Joey Gallo's bat, and Gallo hit a home run off him, a 2-run homer. And that's what he gave up, 2 runs. So he pitched real well against the Yankees. And Yeah, I'd like to see him get another shot.
Okay. I wanted to ask you a question about yourself. How much of a transition was it going from a baseball player into doing media work, PA announcing, and being involved with the Bisons since 1979?
No, that's a good question. I think I hadn't been out of baseball a whole long time when I got hired by the Bison. So, when you're doing color commentary and things like that, it's you got to remember how it was when you were playing. It's not easy. You can say, "Oh, this guy should have done this. He should have done that." But when you're down on the field in between those white lines, it's a little more difficult than what it looks like to some guys that haven't had the opportunity to play like I did. I was very fortunate. I got to play for some good guys, some good managers, Jim Leland, as we had talked about, and a guy named Stubby Overmeyer. I played for Stubby, and they were good guys, good mentors, and so the transition for myself, I don't think it was that hard because I had been to a lot of cities. I'd seen a lot of guys work. I heard a lot of guys on PA. I'd been interviewed on the radio, so when I got the opportunity to do it, I jumped at it, to tell you the truth.
And your last year pro ball, you played with, I think, 1978 with the Niagara Falls Pirates, I believe?
Yeah, I played in the Tigers organization for 3 years, and I hurt my back in spring training. And so I was out for a couple of years, and then I came back. I was like a player coach in Niagara Falls in the New York Penn League, and then they fired the manager about a month into the season, so I managed the last month of the year there, and that was interesting too. But it was a lot of fun, and yeah, that was my last year. I was fortunate enough to be the MVP on the team that year, hit over 300, and I was thinking maybe to get another shot somewhere, but you know what, time to switch it over and go a new direction.
Have you thought about writing a book about your life in sports and baseball?
You know what? I wish I would have written down all the things that I've seen over the years because I've saw a lot of stuff, and to recall it now would be tough to do. But I wish I would have taken some notes and kept a journal for all the time because you've seen a lot of things and been to a lot of places, and it would probably be pretty interesting, I think.
What was it like to do with the late Sabres public address announcer Matt Ellis?
Milt Ellis. Milt was a great guy. Milt had a great voice. He had a very distinct voice, and he did some PA for us, and I would listen to the way he did things, and I could never copy him because I didn't have the kind of voice that he had. He was awesome, but Milt was great. He did the Sabres, and he did the Bisons for a couple of years back in the old rock pile, back in the late '70s, early '80s, and he was a really nice guy.
I was going to say, what was that stadium like? I never got to go there. And what was it like being involved a little bit with that movie, The Natural, with Robert Redford?
It was a great old ballpark. It was built for football, and actually they used to do car races in there too. But so it was an odd-shaped park. They had a short porch out in right field. It was pretty deep in center and left, but it was always the games were always interesting because of that short porch. You never knew what could possibly happen in a ball game there, and you didn't want to leave early because there was a lot of good comebacks in that ballpark. And as far as the Natural, when they came to town, I was working for the team at the time as public relations. I gave them a tour of the stadium, and they said, "Oh, this is exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for an old stadium, big, 50,000 place." And I said, "You got it right here. This is perfect for you."
Okay, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to put you on the spot with this question quickly. Top 3 Bisons you've seen, and what's your most memorable Buffalo Bisons game in your time with the organization?
Wow, that is a tough one right there. Well, I would think when we won the championship here against Richmond, that season was a great season. That was a great game. The most memorable game probably was that, I don't know what it was, 18 innings against Nashville here. We got beat in that ball game, the playoffs. It was an unbelievable ball game. Some of the top players, Jeff Manto, of course, Richie Sexton, Sean Casey, those guys were outstanding. Rick Reed was an outstanding pitcher for the Bisons. There's been so many that come through here. It'd be tough to name them all, but those are some that really quickly come off the top of my head.
Okay, and I want to say congratulations on, it's a bit late, but congratulations on making the Baseball Hall of Fame in 2010, and what was that honor like?
Oh, it was great. I mean, it's, I guess you just have to be old, be hanging around the ballpark for 30 years when you get it, but now I'm in over 40 years of pro baseball now, and it was obviously the highlight of that. It was a great day, and went in with Richie Sexton that day, who had a great career here in Buffalo and went on to have an outstanding big league career too. So it was fun. It was really nice. It was a great honor.
Okay, well, Duke, thank you so much for coming on my Live with CDP interview and my podcast. And I was going to say the audience can listen to you and Pat Malacaro on the Bet 1520.
Very much. I appreciate it. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you so much, Duke. Appreciate it.
All right. Take care, buddy.
You too. Go Bisons.
Go Bird.